with you guys today. Thanks for jumping on. We're going to keep today short. I want to say thank you to all of you guys that's been joining me on these lives. So excited. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 mindset traits that took me from broke to a millionaire in only 6.5 years. Hey, if I have not gotten a chance to meet you and I don't know you, my name is Jamil Frazier. I am an entrepreneur, a coach, a mentor, an angel investor, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But I've built an 8-figure coaching organization, which has been great. It's given me a chance to mentor thousands of entrepreneurs and spend a lot of time with them. I've also written 2 best-selling books, one on personal finances, the other one on personal development. And like I said, personally, I've taken my own finances and net worth. Took me 6.5 years to build my first million. And so why I'm doing this channel and why I'm doing content like this is because probably the biggest mistake that I've made in my professional career is I have shown thousands of entrepreneurs how to scale their businesses, how to bring thousands of dollars of revenues into their businesses. But what I did not do was work with them and teach them how to build their own personal and financial wealth. I gave them the blueprint on how to scale a business, but I never gave a blueprint on how to actually have and build wealth. And for that, is why I'm doing this content. So excited. So my wife and I, you're going to see, you're going to meet her at some point in time. She was on, we did a live a couple days ago, and so she was on, so you might want to go back and check that one out. But today I'm stoked, man, because so much of money comes down to mindset. Write that down. So much of your wealth comes down to mindset. So much of building more wealth comes down to mindset. So much of making more money comes down to mindset. Mindset is such a big part. So today I'm going to give you the 5 mindset traits that's going to take you from where you are to the wealth that you want to build. But before I get into that, I think it's really important for us to understand a couple different things. One is the first thing that in order to start going up, of course, you're going to have to give up. And some of those things you're going to have to give up is a belief system that you might have right now that says it's not possible for me, or I'm not worthy, or people don't want to hear from me, or I come from poverty, or I come from a situation to where things hadn't historically worked out for my family, or, I'm a woman, or I'm a man, or I'm black, or I'm white, or I'm Asian, or I live on a West Coast or I live on an East Coast. Like we have to break those what we call limiting beliefs. Excuse me. We have to break those limiting belief systems. So the first thing that I want you to write down is if I can't see it, I'm probably not going to achieve it. Just write that down for me. If I can't see it, I'm probably not going to achieve it. And for me, this speaks to vision. And when I think about vision, I always think about biblically the Apostle Paul. Man, if there's one person in world history, when you talk about vision, there's lots of them. Dr. King, we talk about Gandhi, we could talk about Nelson Mandela, but I like to think about Apostle Paul because this guy had a vision. He had a vision to take this new religion, this thing that they call it the gospel, and he had a vision to literally sprinkle it across the world at a time to where it was so hard to maneuver, it was so hard to travel. There's all these different ideologies, there's all these different religions, there's all these different languages. And he took something that nobody really knew about, but he had a vision that I'm going to spread this thing across the world so that more and more people can have and find what they call salvation. And so without vision, it's going to be really hard to actually accomplish it. So the first thing you want to do is have that vision, and because that's going to lead to belief. And making money and building wealth comes down to a belief system that you have about yourself. And so I just want to encourage you today that it really has nothing to do with your circumstances. Please write that down because I always thought that it did. I grew up on welfare from the time I was basically like 1 or 2 years old all the way until I got to college. Just think about that for a minute. For 18 years, every single month, my family and I waited for the state of California and the federal government to cut us a check so that we couldn't survive. Think about that for a minute. So do you think that played with my belief system about what was actually possible for me? Does that give you a sense of the circumstances that we were in? So you part of the belief is getting to a place to where you realize your circumstances are not going to make you, but they can absolutely break you. Write that down. They're are not going to make you. Now they can make you with giving you the grit, with giving you the desire, with giving you the sweat equity, with giving you the work ethic. They can make you in terms of those things. But what our circumstances usually do is it usually breaks us. So just get that first thing is that belief system, knowing that your circumstances are not going to be is not the primary determining factor of where you're going to go, right? Like where you are right now is where you are right now, but it doesn't mean that that's where you have to stay. So number one is belief, and it doesn't matter where you're at right now. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter where you freaking live. It doesn't even matter the job that you have right now. But the first thing is belief. You got to have a vision that it is going to happen for you. Second thing I want to talk to you about is once you have that belief system, now we can start that vision has to turn into focus. Let me just say that again. That vision has to turn into focus. What do I mean by that? The focus part is one of the most important parts. It's the intense part. Right now, you there's too many distractions that are going on. And the way that I know that is because when my wife and I got engaged in 2008, 4th of July 2008, we set our wedding date for September of 2009. And we knew that that wedding was going to cost us about $30,000. So what we did is we got crazy focused on saving money so that we could have about $30,000 in about a year's time. Think about that. I was young, she was young, she didn't make very much, I didn't make very much, but we wanted to pay for our own wedding. We knew that we only had about 14, 15 months to save up about $30,000. By the time our wedding came, we dang near had about $30,000 saved up. Why? Because we were laser focused. Now, what happened is we got married in 2009, and then 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, we didn't save a penny. Why? Because we lost focus, and we lost focus because we lost the vision as to what we wanted to accomplish. Focus is going to be the determining factor that's going to take you from where you are to where you want to go. These are all mindset things. I'm telling you, building wealth and expanding your earning capacity comes down to mindset. So much of it is mindset. So we have belief, we have vision, we have focus, and that takes me to what we call hope. Write this down. You guys, I've worked with thousands and 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 thousands of people over the last 10 years. And I will tell you, most folks who are not doing as well as they want to be, I even think about me 12 years ago. I wasn't doing as well as I want to be, and you're probably not doing as well as you want to be doing because you have, in some way, shape, or form, lost hope. And hopelessness is something that robs people from tapping in to their God-given ability. And for the reason that you are literally here is to flourish. But if we don't have hope and we have hopelessness, then there's nothing to strive for. Why would I even try? So one thing that a lack of hope takes away from you is this feeling that I am the dominant force of my own life. Have you ever felt that way? Like I know that I felt that way, especially When my wife got pregnant with our first child, I wasn't really, I didn't, I was scared, man. I was super scared. And I didn't feel like I would be a good father because my father was never there. I didn't know how to be a man. I didn't know how to be a father. And so instead of taking ownership and responsibility and feeling like, hey, man, I'm the dominant force of my own life, the only thing that I could do and the only thing that my mind told me was go to your wife and ask her if she would have an abortion. Isn't that crazy? Like in the moment to where you would think it's the highlight of your life. You're married, you now are pregnant with what's going to be your first child. You would think that I would have been elated, but I wasn't. I was scared. I was scared and I was nervous and I couldn't see the future and I didn't know how it was going to turn out and I was so scared. So when my wife told me she was not going to have an abortion, that we were going to have this child and it was our responsibility to take care of this child, I felt like I didn't have control over my own life. And because of that, I lost hope. I'm telling you, what you want to become is the dominant force of your own life, of your own financial future, of your own wealth building capacity. And if you don't have hope, then what we do as human beings is we say, why should I even try? Okay, so hope is like one of the biggest things. So let's talk about the 5 things that change. Okay, here's the 5 things. I'm about to give them to you. So the 5 things that change, because in 2013, I was broke. In 2018, I had my first million in net worth. 2019, another million. 2020, another million. 2021, are you catching the drift? So, what are the 5 things, Jamil? So, we talking about mindset then. What are the 5 things? I'm about to give them to you. Number one, here it is. You have to change your inputs. Write that down. I have to change my input. Well, what is my input? Well, here's the thing, what goes in comes out. Do you guys agree with that? What goes in comes out. What goes up comes down. What goes in comes out. What you put in here, the information that you put in here, is what is going to be attracted out there, what is going to manifest out there. So if you're putting in junk here, you're going to get junk out there. If you're putting in scarcity in here, you're going to get scarcity out there. If you're putting in poverty in here, you're going to get poverty out there. If you're putting in negativity in here, you're going to get negativity out there. Now, the opposite is true as well. If you're putting abundance in here, guess what you're going to start to see out there? If you're putting happiness in here, guess what you're going to see out there? If you're putting there's massive opportunities in here, guess what you're going to see out there? So I had to learn how to change my input. What is the information that I am actively allowing to come in here, because I'm now starting to understand that that is what I'm going to produce out there, your input. So some of the ways you can start to change your input are the books that you read. I never, ever, ever read books. In fact, I remember when I started my organization, very, very new, right? Just launching this organization. I quit my job. I had taken a pay cut. I didn't care. I wanted to go out there and take this risk and see if I could build a coaching organization. And I remember in my first year, I started helping so many people that as I would go to different seminars, they would have these different awards. And I remember these awards that I got at my second seminar that I ever went to, they had these challenges that were out there. And I won every single one, right? And I didn't even know what I was doing, but I won every single one. And I remember some of the prizes that they were giving me were like these Amazon book cards. And I remember being so freaking annoyed that they were giving me these coupons to go buy books because I wasn't a reader. I never read, never, ever. I wasn't very studious. I didn't get good grades in high school. Once I got out of college, I was like, read for what? And so that wasn't part of my philosophy. And it wasn't until a little bit later that I started to understand that if I wanted to have a better output out there, then I need to start to change my input. So I started to become a voracious reader, like just reading like crazy. And I always tell the story that there was a time that I'd be reading like 5 or 6 books a month, so over a book a week, not in addition to the podcast and the audio books and all that stuff. So anyway, books is a way you can start to put in a new input. Okay, books. Getting around the right people. I'll talk about this a little bit later. Why? Because that's going to change what's going in here. Friends, getting around different friends. Why? Because that's going to change what's going in here. Your environment is one of the key factors that's going to determine how well you're going to do over this next decade in terms of building wealth. Okay, environment, mentors. Highly encourage you to go seek out mentors. Why? Because it's going to help change the game of what you put in here, your inputs. Okay, meditation, prayer, goal setting, setting goals. Nobody really ever taught me on how to set goals. But once I started getting mentors that started giving me different inputs, then I started having different outputs. So number one is change your input. Number two is focus on serving others. There's two parts of building wealth. One part is making the money. The other part is having the money work for you so that it can grow. Now, part of being able to put away more so that you can start investing so that money can grow is figure out a way to start making more. How do you make more money? Number two is service. Wake up every single day and ask yourself this question. I'm about to give it to you. Are you ready? Who can I serve today? That's some game right there. Who can I serve today? The reality is, the more money that you want to make is in somebody else's pockets right now. And trust me, they want to spend that money. It doesn't matter how much they make, how little they make, they are going to spend it on something. They're either going to spend it on a product or they're going to spend it on a service. And I'm telling you, that money is burning a hole in their pocketbooks because they want to spend it. Now, you got to figure out what can I either make or who can I help that's going to solve their problems. Okay, you want to make more? The easiest way to do it is to solve people's problems. Now, it doesn't matter if you are working for someone right now, it's the same mindset. Who can I serve today? Whose life can I make easier at my job? Whose problems can I solve at my job? How can I become more of an asset to the people in my life instead of a liability? And it doesn't matter if you're an employee, if you run a small business, if you're scaling something to where it's going to be huge, and it doesn't even matter if you're an investor. My wife and I are angel investors. What does that mean? It means we look for really cool founders that are starting these really cool businesses, and we want to help those guys out. We want to invest in them, and we want to invest in their vision for a part ownership of their company. So even when I wake up now, I'm thinking, who can I serve today? Who can I help? What new founders are out there that needs a little bit of help? And by the way, they all need help, but they need help a little bit differently. When I first started to get into angel investing, I thought, what can I bring to the table? Like, these guys, you invest in people who generally are better than you, right? Are super talented, super bright, have a ton of skill sets. And so when I started investing in founders, I started thinking, like, what the heck can I bring to the table? And then I started realizing, just by asking, how can I serve you? All of these guys needed something a little bit differently. And most of the times it wasn't just money. So you got to figure out who can I serve. So number two is if you want to up your money game, then focus on service. Okay. And there's a great passage in the Bible where Jesus is sitting there and his disciples are there with him and he's there with his inner circle. And they said, Jesus, when all this kicks off, man, when you take over the throne, they didn't really know what he was there for. But they were like, when you take over, like, which one of us is going to be the greatest? Like, which one of us is going to be your right hand? And he turns to them and he says, well, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And the person that serves the many is going to be the greatest. Now, they didn't really know what he meant, but that's a principle that if we abide by and we just work on serving others, creating something that's going to help them, then you're not going to struggle for money. That's how you can increase. That's how my monthly income went from $3,000 a month to 8 to 10 to 12 to 20 to 30 to 50 to 80 to 100, so on and so forth, because I just figured out a way every single day. Who can I serve today? How can I go be a bigger blessing in people's lives and impact more people? You guys got that? So number two is serving others. Number three is delayed gratification. As human beings, we don't like to wait. This is a mindset trait that if you can get this one down, you are going to build wealth. I'm telling you, you're going to pay off debt. Okay. You are going to increase your savings. You're going to start investing more and you are going to build wealth. I promise you, if you can get this one down, which is just chill out, bro. Just wait. Just be patient. We don't like waiting though. We don't like waiting for that first freaking sexual experience. We don't like waiting for we don't like waiting. The biggest difference between people like a Jeff Bezos, um, a Warren Buffett, um, a Jansen Wang, who's the CEO. I may have said his last name wrong. Wang, who's the CEO of NVIDIA. The biggest difference between them and me as a pharmaceutical sales rep for Johnson and Johnson 12 years ago, the biggest difference is one, vision, and two, patience. They decided to build something that was going to take years before they actually started to get paid off of it. Okay? For me, I got a job with Johnson and Johnson as a pharmaceutical sales rep because I want to get paid right now. Right now. Like I work today, where's my check at next week, bro? These guys said, I got a big vision. I have a way that I want to impact society, and I don't mind waiting. Delayed gratifications is one of the sexiest mindset traits that you can have if you want to be really successful with building more wealth. And we don't like to do it. This is why you have to decide to be different. Okay. So delayed gratification is a mindset trait that you got to adopt because you can't have it right now. They always say you want your cake and you eat it too. As you are building wealth, it's not likely to happen because you're going to have to give up things that you don't want to give up, and you're going to have to be really patient. We don't like to wait. We don't like to wait for the weight loss. We don't like to wait to see the money build up. We don't like to wait. And so what we need is we got to have stuff right now. And what I'm telling you is that's one of the quickest ways to being in financial jeopardy and being broke is buying everything that you feel like you need right now or want right now. No, 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 no. All right, let's get into number four. This actually might be number five. So one, we talked about your inputs have got to change. Number two, focus on service. Number three, delayed gratification. Number four is discipline. Discipline is going to be the way you're going to level up in every area of your life, not just your finances. Discipline. You have to be different. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how do I become disciplined in areas of my life? The way you become disciplined is some of those things that I just talked about earlier in this video. Okay. You have to really, really want what's out there more than that, just is what you see right here. Oh my God, write that down. You have to really, really want more of what you see out there. Remember, we talked about vision. You have to really want what you see out there more than what you just see right here. See, the problem is we lose focus. Remember, that's why I spent the first 15 minutes talking about vision, talking about focus, because without those things, you're not going to exercise delayed gratification and you're not going to exercise discipline. When people lose discipline or don't have discipline, it's because they're not chasing anything. They don't see anything out there that they want more than what they just have right here. So discipline in saving, discipline in paying off your debt, and definitely discipline with every single month investing. We have to become investors. The discipline is I'm going to do it every single day because it's a lifestyle, every single month because it's a lifestyle. I'm not going to be skipping stuff. This is just who I am. That's one of the sexiest traits to building wealth that honestly most people don't do. I didn't do it. Why the heck? I didn't do it. I was I've been earning money since the time I was 16 years old. I was never disciplined with every single month investing my money until I was 33. Isn't that crazy? How do you go dang near 15 years or more with missing that? That's what I ask myself now. Jamil, how do you go 15 plus years with missing one of the most important things to do, which is investing your money every single month, every single paycheck, like clockwork? You eat like clockwork, right? Hopefully you brush your teeth like clockwork. Jamil, why didn't you invest your money like clockwork? No goals, no vision, no discipline. Number five. Number five is what I call your road dogs. Gotta change your road dogs. The New York Times came out with a really interesting article that was titled, Obesity Spreads to Friends. Isn't that crazy? It grabs your attention, right? And what they were doing was they were giving information based off of research that showed that a person's chance of becoming obese increased 57% if their close friend was also obese. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, if a close friend was also obese, and 40% if their sibling was obese, and 37% if their spouse was obese. Isn't that crazy? Let me read that again. So, research showed that a person's chance of becoming obese increased by 57% if a close friend was obese. That's dang near 60%. 40% if their siblings obese, and 37% if their spouse is obese. And quite frankly, I would think that it would be higher if their spouse was obese. But what they're saying is your environment, the people that you're around, right, makes a really big difference. So, one of the sexiest mindset traits that you can have for building wealth is change your friends. And again, in order to become, there's the percentage of people in the United States or even in Europe who we would consider, have a net worth of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, whatever, it's relatively small. What did you say? I would say maybe what? I don't know, 10% of folks. Do you know how many millions of people that is that are not in those 10%? So why aren't they? Largely because you have to be different. And to be different requires you to make decisions that are a little bit harder. And one decision that's admittedly is tough to do is change your friends, change the people that you spend a ton of time with, change your road dogs. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying it's necessary for you to take inventory of, are these people around me, are their financial habits, their money habits, their wealth building habits, are they serving me? Every time I get around these people, do I spend more? Am I adopting their same philosophies of, let me just put all this stuff on credit cards and just figure it out later? Am I adopting their same philosophies of, I don't even know how much is coming in and how much is going out? Am I adopting their same philosophies of, I don't see the importance of investing? Why don't I spend more money to go to another concert instead of taking that same money that you want to throw at a concert and now put that into a low cost index fund? Am I adopting the same mindset of these people around me? And is it time for me to get around a new group, a new investor friend group, a new group of people that's paying down debt, a new group of people that wants to level up? Is it time for me to do that? Because what I've been doing isn't necessarily serving me. So those are the 5 mindset traits that took me from broke to millionaire in just 6.5 years, you guys. I was, what, 32 years old when I started on my journey, when I really got focused on this. And so by the time I was 38, we had already had a net worth of over a million. That's only 6 years, 6.5 years, right? So I'm telling you, these are the 5 mindset traits that really work for me. Thank you for jumping on today. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please share this video. I want to impact, hundreds and thousands of lives. That's my goal on this. And like I said, a big inspiration for me doing these videos is because I've helped people build businesses that have done countless thousands of dollars of revenue, but they never kept their money. The more that they would make, the more they spent. And there was nothing that was ever left over. And then you get into trouble. So I want to help with that. And I really appreciate you jumping on and sharing this. We will be back on with another live tomorrow. If you haven't already joined my private community group, look in the show notes and join it there. If you're not following me over at Instagram, we'd love to have you follow there. Go live every day, and I put up one really great video per week. So hopefully this brought you value. We will see you tomorrow.